All right, and now we're live. Yay! Much better than the alternative.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm actually looking forward to today. And I'm
Yes,
looking
pretty-
forward to the news this evening and all the streams and everything.
Oh my god.
Of course, as soon as we go live, that's when your family decides they need to come talk to you.
My daughter needed cupcakes.
Yeah. Oh, Lord have mercy. She needed them cupcakes right now.
They're tiny ones. They're the mini cupcakes and they're chocolate vanilla.
Oh.
Yeah, I might need one in a minute. Fuck that scale. I didn't ask for it. Nobody asks for a scale. Come on.
I woke up this morning and I was hungry. So I always offered to make the wife breakfast before she leaves for work.
Yeah.
And usually I'm not hungry, but I'm offering to make her breakfast. I'll make me, a slice of toast or something to go along with whatever I've made her.
Okay.
Well, this morning I'm the one that woke up hungry.
Oh no.
And I asked her, while she was in combing her hair after she was done brushing her teeth and everything, if hey, you ready for me to make you some breakfast? She goes, I'm not hungry today.
Okay.
Okay, so that means I can't eat nothing until you leave for work.
Why?
No, because I'm not going to make a breakfast for myself
and eat in front of her
and eat while she's home.
Well, that's nice, but she's already refused it, so
Well, okay, yeah, but then as soon as I start making it, then why are you doing making that? Now that makes me hungry, and I'm going to want some of it.
So you just go ahead and make it like usual, and if she doesn't take it, that's on her.
So
if she doesn't, more for you.
So what I did as soon as she left, I had some. The recipe calls it a farmer's casserole, but basically all it is hash browns, sausage, ham, cheese, then a half a dozen eggs whisked up and poured over top of it and put in the refrigerator overnight, then baked the next morning.
No. I'm in a call. Stop. Out. There's no ice in the hallway, Mom. There's no ice? No, there's no. All right, get out. I'll figure it out later. Get out. 1, 2. Stop. I'm telling you, stop. Stop. We're having a fight now. He's going to tell me the same thing 10 times while I'm yelling stop. Nice.
All right.
He just put stop. I'm in a call. So I ordered this stuff and I ordered 5 bags of ice and they did not put it as an unavailable item.
Right.
They didn't substitute it. It just isn't here.
So the ice just finally appeared, huh?
Here. No, it's not here at all.
Oh.
What I don't understand is how can they not list it as unavailable, just charge it and not deliver it? I have to call them up as soon as the stream is over and find out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, this was Walmart?
Yeah.
Of course.
First or second or third. They're usually pretty good. Like they'll tell me if something isn't available and they'll let me try and find a substitute while it's being worked on. But oh my god, I need this ice. I can't drink anything if it's warm and gross. $18 for Oreos? Are you drunk? No,
that's
$18.
That's one big bag of Oreos.
I'm guessing it's like double stuff. It's got chocolate filling and it's a limited edition. Why did I put 12 bags of ice? I don't need 12 bags of ice. What the hell? 6. All the stays right there. Right there, yeah. Okay. Stop.
So anyway, uh, I just went ahead.
Okay, go on.
We had that for dinner the other night. Had some leftovers, so I warmed that up and ate that for breakfast after she
Hey,
left.
get out, please.
All right, guys. As we know, today is January 6th,
Get out.
and what that means is that the
Okay, stay right there.
Electoral County College votes are going to be counted.
Get out. Let me mute. I'm sorry.
The Electoral College votes will be getting counted today. And one thing that's gone on over the weekend is a lot of the more liberal posters, all right, and commentators, and supposed dreamers, and very they claim to be extremely knowledgeable on the left, have been going to the National Archives and looking at the what they've got. The National Archives has got for the Electoral College results.
Okay.
All right. So this is what they're showing: Electoral College certificates and votes by state. All right. This is real simple. Alabama, they've got a number of votes: 9 for Trump, 9 for Vance. Alaska, 3 and 3. Arizona, 11 and 11. Arkansas, 6 and 6. But then they come down here into California. They got 54 votes, but none have been archived yet. And as you'll notice, there's no PDF file for it yet.
Okay.
Now, I just pulled this up this morning, just before it started, before we went live. Colorado, it's showing theirs. Then Florida's not showing who's getting their votes. Georgia, Idaho, Kansas, Kentucky. There's a total of 21 states that the National Archives is not showing a certificate of ascertainment. Okay, and then who's getting what? And they're sitting there, and these left-wing people, and every one of them's left-wing that I've seen.
Of course it is.
Okay. I'm not saying it's Harry Sisson, but the Harry Sisson lookalikes or the Harry Sisson wannabes. And I tell you what, this year has been so pleasant with, since the past month or so, since the Democrats have really quit paying Harry to stream, or they're not paying him as much because, of course, the election's over with. I'm not hearing that man's that. I call him a man simply because he's over 18. All right, he's in college, so he's 19 or 20 years old. And, that's only. Mentally, he's still a man child. But anyway, they're all going, well, all these states, they're withholding their votes. They're not going to cast their votes, and Trump's not going to get his 370 electoral college votes. And it's like, wait a second. The National Archives is one of 6 or 7 government agencies that get copies of these certificates of assertment. I got to keep looking at to make certain that I'm using the proper term. And it's and they're like bottom tier as to, who gets them because they're archivists. And when do you archive something? After it's done, after it's complete. You don't archive something before it's completely done. And you don't send something to the National Archives to be put up in their damp, dusky, musky drawers until it's all said and done, and the I's have been dotted, the T's have been crossed, and the P's and Q's have been minded. But the number of people this weekend I've seen sitting here online in YouTube Shorts and TikTok, of course, and all the other social media, Lemon 8, just going absolutely nuts over the fact that 21 states aren't showing their certificates at the National Archives. Now, the electoral vote count is not until, I think it's 2 o'clock. It's either 1 or 2 o'clock Eastern time. Because I haven't gotten a really good, if you, where is my C-SPAN? Here we go. So let me share this tab. Okay, C-SPAN. See, they don't show what time zone that they're looking at here. All right. At 12:10 p.m., there is the C-SPAN is doing the viewer calls and discussions. Then at 1 o'clock, is that Eastern, Central? I don't know. They're doing the joint session of Congress to count the votes. Now, the left, again, these people on the left, I can't believe how stupid they are. They're sitting there saying, Kamala, as vice president, she can turn around and refuse to count some states. She can refuse, and it's like, no. Remember in 2022, the Democrats, because they were so pissed off about everything that happened in 2021, they passed, and Joe Biden signed into law a bill that made the vice president's role strictly ceremonial. She's got no authority. She's got no power. All she could do is sit there and tell people to shut up. Other than that, she's got no power to do anything. She calls on the state. They read the electoral. Somebody will stand up and object to it. And also, they change, it takes more than one member of the House and one member of the Senate now to object to another state's electoral county college vote. So this is the Democrats. They always, they think they're going to jam it to the Republicans, and it turns around, bites them in the ass. They never think that they're going to be on the other side. So now, depending on how things go today, I am planning on streaming this. I'm planning on it.
I'll be there.
All right, and if I can, I will. Hey, Neil, if I can, I will. I'm going to try to use the C-SPAN stream, and hopefully I can stream it without getting in without because I know if I tried using MSNBC, CNN, Fox, any of these other people, I know that YouTube will shut the stream down. Now, I may just stream it over at Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
I may decide just to make this a Rumble stream because I've never done a purely Rumble stream before. So I may do that as
I
a
think it would be safer. I mean, I don't think you're gonna get copyright strikes if you hit the
right.
Rumble. You know.
So I may do it as strictly as a Rumble stream, and then download it and re-upload it to YouTube later. Yeah, I think that'd be the trick. Just reverse my
I don't get phone alerts
process.
for a Rumble though.
I'm sorry.
I don't get phone alerts from Rumble. I only get phone alerts from YouTube.
Okay, well, I don't know what to say. I can do a fake start of a stream on YouTube for you.
Do that.
And then
I'll put the link to Rumble in the description.
And then just go over to Rumble and start the actual stream.
Hey, whatever works for you, man.
I don't know. But yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to doing today. And then when that's over and with, I've got to go out and help start moving some of the wife's smaller plants. So when she gets home, she doesn't have so many plants to move.
Oh no, don't kill the plants. No, I know you're just moving them, but still. It sounded like just using as many plants and holy shit.
Well, she's sitting there last night and she's going, "Where did all these plants come from?"
Oh God, let me know.
I looked at her and I said, "Dear,
when a mommy plant and a daddy plant like each other very much."
I just told her Lowe's and Home Depot. She goes, "All right." Because she can't go to either one without going through their gardening section.
Oh,
and she'll usually come home with a plant. And there's one plant, she's sitting there and she's yelling at me. She can't get it to move. And as I'm walking over, she's using the dolly to try to pick it up, and it won't pick up.
No, you have to tilt it to get the dolly to slide under it. Was it in a stone? Was it in a stone pot? One of those big stone containers, or?
Hey, Josh. It's actually no. It's in a big wooden pot that's about 2 foot square and 3 foot tall.
Planted. That's the word I was trying to think of.
But what had happened was the roots, it grew down through the bottom of the pot into the earth.
Oh man, this is bad.
So it had actually grown through the pot.
I got you.
And when she pulled it up, she actually pulled the root up through the ground. And he's like, "Well, I guess I need to go buy a bigger pot tomorrow, don't I?" It's like, yeah, it looks like you need to go buy a bigger pot because that thing has outgrown that little pot.
Okay,
and you would think, a pot that's 1.5 foot to a side.
Yeah.
And almost 3 foot tall. You would think that's a pretty healthy sized pot and it could handle the plants. But it did not handle.
You gotta grow.
It did not handle dissing very well.
Okay, you ever read RPG horror stories? It's a sub on Reddit. Oh my god.
No, I
It's
don't.
like
I don't.
sometimes it's funny.
I got kicked off of Reddit. I'm
I've been
banned.
kicked off Reddit so many times. But anyway,
Oh no, I'm perma
this
banned.
yeah, a couple of my accounts got perma banned. I had to hide my IP. Anyway, so this guy has a daughter, and his daughter and her friends are watching Stranger Things, and they wanted to learn about D&D. They were like, "Oh, you played when you were young. Can you make us a story and DM it for us?" So he agrees, and it's kind of Halloween themed. And they're little 11-year-old girls. They're little kittens. So he's doing this thing only to find out in horror that they're all a bunch of little murder hobos. So yeah, so like the whole plot is they're trying to remove a curse from 3 adjoining towns, and they have to get ingredients for a spell and then find a witch and give them to her. The first ingredient is candy, and there's a little kid trick or treating in the town, and they ask politely for the candy, and he says no. And a girl discovers the fireball spell on her sheet and promptly turns him to ash. This little kid, and they take his candy, and one little girl in a belated act of redemption tries to puts his ashes in her urn to take them with her, and that makes it all better, right? So yeah.
Yeah,
Another one is some I forget what the other, but the last ingredient is a dragon's tooth, which there's an orc at the edge of town that has one. Now the normal thing would be to knock on her door and bargain for it. No, they try to break into her fucking a giant fucking orc lady, and they immediately start breaking into her house. They tie her up, take all her cool armor and her weapon and her dragon tooth, ransack her house, and leave her unarmored, helpless in her house. And I forgot what the next thing was. Oh, it was a crow. He asked for a little piece of candy to feed his child, and they refused. So now you've got dead crows to your murder list. And the whole thing was just killing people for their stuff. It was just the saddest thing. And he's like, this did not go. I didn't believe little girls were so vicious and bloodthirsty. I'm like, you don't spend a lot of time with little girls. I used to watch hockey games just to watch the fights. I didn't care about the game. I was just hoping one would hit the other team accidentally, and there'd be a blood fest. But no,
little girls are mean and vicious.
man, they are the scariest. Boys, you can break up a fight with boys, and you'll talk to them a little bit. They'll punch their frustrations out, and they'll be friends next to girls. Girls carry grudges to their graves. Oh my god, the girls forget nothing. I can't even. Then he thought he was done with it, but then they asked him later on for another campaign, and then it was 6 girls instead of 4, and I didn't get past that. That man was damaged.
Oh, Monkey decided to stream this morning.
I saw it was something about Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
It
I
it
just
was my
just got
sleeping time song.
notification of it. He started streaming an hour ago, and I just now got notification of it.
Oh wow. Okay. Someone did a Shanny reaction stream like couple hours ago, and it was so early I didn't get it.
He's probably setting up for the electoral vote
Oh my god.
because Kamala, of course, is in charge of it.
So
So,
Shan- so Shanny is now claiming that she is the savior, or she's working, quote unquote. That woman never worked a day in her life. She got kicked out of basic training. What the hell is she talking about? But she's now the self-appointed savior of all the traffic ed children. That's how she says it. It's not traffic, it's traffic ed, and she said that like 5 times.
we're talking about Shanny for Christ.
Yeah, she went on a string with black lipstick and a black lace thing she put on her head like a veil, and Oh my god, she's a fucking joke. Because she was almost sent to Epstein Island. Yeah, no, I don't
Yeah,
think
she
so.
couldn't fit in the plane. That's what
I was
saved
gonna
her.
say there's no boat big enough to take her ass on an island. There's no island big enough to hold her. Anyway,
They, they couldn't
yeah,
get her on the helicopter. She didn't
yeah,
fit through the door.
and she's saving all the YouTube videos so that when the government deletes them because it's proof, um, she'll have it. She'll have it nice and safe for the survivors of these crimes. And oh my god, she sounds so fucking damaged. Like, I think she's deliberately sounding stupid, hopefully to get medication. I don't know what else
Yeah,
to say.
I that's how she's hoping to drive traffic to her channel. She's
It's
doing it for views.
Well, I'm not watching her channel. I'm watching other people restreaming her content and commenting on it because
Well,
I'm
that's
not
what
going to
I'm
give her
saying.
any views.
Every person that streams her content or goes in and watches it, then cuts it up and clips it out. That's another view she gets.
That is true, but
And
she can't get monetized. She got banned years ago for streaming the stream when
oh,
they were
I
going
thought,
driving across country, and the boyfriend was verbally abusing the children. It was horrible shit he was saying.
but I thought that she started a new channel
She
that
did.
got monetized.
No, she's not going to get a check. The minute she starts asking for her checks, she's going to get banned again. Because she's been banned multiple times for ban evasion. So, I mean, she streamed child
Okay,
abuse. They don't tolerate
I,
that.
I have not watched anything from her
Because you're
since
normal. I'm a little
uh
obsessed. I'm not normal.
since uh uh since there was an irate bear.
I'm going to be
Uh,
honest here,
And
and I
how many
really don't like
years
it.
has irate bear no longer been out there? It's been, Alex has been doing
Irate
under.
Alex? Oh, man, I like him. He's covered her too.
Yeah, yeah. Remember, when Alex used to do a lot with
I,
him, but he did it under irate bear, not
I
Alex.
I know he's got a bear character on his channel, but I never saw him as Irate Bear. I didn't get in that early with him.
Yeah.
Um,
So I haven't even. I don't even know if he's even still streaming because he hasn't popped
Rarely.
up on my
He's been
stuff in God at least 2 years.
Well, he's in a relationship. He's got a kid. He's been diagnosed, I think, with MS.
Yeah,
So he's
yeah,
got
that's
his own
all.
business going on.
Yeah, yeah, he's got MS. Yeah, uh,
I think he does
I
like
knew
every few
that.
months, every 6 months or
You know,
something. I don't know.
him and I talked about that because the what I've got is in the MS family. It's not MS, but it's in
Yeah,
the family. It's in the same family
gotcha.
as MS. And him and I talked behind the curtains there a couple of times when he got first diagnosed, with it. But and like I told him, just because we're in the same family, that doesn't mean I know. I don't know
Right.
enough. I don't know anything about
What you're
MS,
going through. Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
there's about 20 or 30 different immune uh, diseases all under one, all in that
Yeah.
family.
Yeah. It's
Just
weird. I've known about 3 or 4 different people personally that have gotten diagnosed in the last 5 years. So I don't know whether it's increasing like autism or what's the deal. I don't know, man.
well, mine, they figure mine is a result of the chemicals I worked with when I was in the Air Force.
Yeah, that's what happened to Raltz's lungs. He had some chemical stuff going on and he got messed up. He
Yeah.
went in, he got a diagnosis of Persian Gulf syndrome or something, but
Okay.
he
Well,
was denied.
if he got that, then he should be getting a nice check from the
No,
VA every
he
month.
got denied because they said he got his Persian Gulf syndrome before he went to the Persian Gulf. Yeah, no, I can't make it make sense either. But hey, that's our government. So,
That makes no sense whatsoever.
well, the doctor who treated him has made statements that there's no way this damage occurred to his lungs just by smoking. Even if he smoked 10 packs a day for 20 years, he would not have gotten that kind of damage. So, yeah. So the VA is covering everything for him now, but oh my god.
Well,
But
as long as the VA is covering his medical, that's better than a slap in the face.
yeah. But getting back to
Jo-
what?
Josh, I've never had any French coffee made from a fresh French
Me neither.
press.
But
I don't know if that's something I would, because I really do prefer uh, percolated or drip coffee.
yeah, I like it. But I have heard the trend of people putting coffee and these things in water and putting them in the fridge overnight and then drinking it the next morning and cold pressed coffee or whatever they're calling it. It sounds
Right.
really good. Plus, I like cold coffee, so. But yeah, I got a
I
confession. I'm kind of following Shanny with the same hatred that I used to follow Casey Anthony. Like I knew every step that skinny little bitch made. I any time of the day I'd be like, "Where's she at?" And go back to WordPress because that's where they were talking about her. But yeah, that's kind of where I am now. Because she's still scamming people. She's still telling people she's got her kids, and she can't afford food for them or heating or light. They have no power, and the children are cold and hungry, and they're sending her money, dude. Holy shit. If she can still pretend kids that are in her care that have been in the CPS for 2 years, I should go back to saying my kids are 5 and I don't know how I'm going to feed them because we don't get child support. I should do that and see what I get. But no, unlike her, I don't lie very well, so I'll get busted immediately and kicked off YouTube. I wouldn't do that anyway. But yeah, she got $4,300 and is denying it. Oh, so now she's children's protector now because people are so cold and evil to children. Yeah. Okay, whatever,
uh,
bitch.
really whatever.
Yeah.
All monkeys. Kamala's
Wait.
ultimate embarrassment. No, Kamala has. Al Gore was honestly embarrassed that he lost to GW.
He
He
should
was
be.
honestly embarrassed over that because he fought so hard and violated the laws of Florida
Uh-huh.
in the way he fought that to get Florida's votes, especially since the media called and Florida for Al Gore before the Panhandle of Florida had closed their polls, and the count was close enough that it was actually the Panhandle of Florida that swung the state to GW. But I mean, I was home and listening and tracking the Florida count live because yeah, I don't know if Florida still does it because I haven't done it. I didn't do it this year. But Florida's Secretary of State website, you could actually watch them count, watch the count of the votes, the raw vote counting coming in for each county. And when they announced Florida for Al Gore, GW is up by 10,000 votes.
Oh yeah, that's how
And,
it goes.
and that was an hour before the Panhandle stopped. That was at 6 o'clock in the evening, and of course, the Panhandle still had another hour to vote. That was 6 o'clock in the evening Central Time, which was 7 o'clock Eastern, which is when the Eastern side closes their polls. So, yeah. Now, Al Gore, I could see him ultimately being embarrassed about losing.
Oh yeah.
Well, we used to make when I was in Scouts, and when I was and as a scout, as a scout, and then as a scout leader, we'd make what we called hobo coffee all the time.
Oh.
Which you got your coffee pot, you put your water in, you put your grounds in, and you throw eggshells, a couple of eggshells into the bottom into the pot with it. And for some reason, I don't understand the science or the miracle behind it, but about 90% of the coffee grounds would end up inside the eggshells.
Oh my God.
But you just sit there and boil the water with the coffee grounds in the water itself. So I've got two worst coffee stories,
Oh
both of them
no.
military. When I was at Luke as a young airman, a gentleman who was not very happy with our chief master sergeant or with our captain spiked their coffee pot the night before. So when they came in the next morning and made their coffee, and they're the only two that drank out of that pot, they both ended up in the hospital because they were seeing things that weren't there. They were high as hell. He spiked their coffee with LSD, which
Oh my God.
he ended up in Leavenworth when they found out who it was and how what happened and everything. He ended up with a 10-year sentence, I believe, in Leavenworth. Then the other one was in Germany. The the policy is whoever the last people were to leave the branch at night had to prep the coffee pot for the next morning. Well, one young lady, she said, I shouldn't have to do it because I don't drink coffee. And her supervisor said, you don't understand whether you drink it or not. That's your job. The instructions are right there on how to prep the coffee maker for the pot. And this is one of those big, I think it was a big 90 cup coffee pot. This thing was huge. How much coffee to put in, how much water to put in, yeah, et cetera, et cetera. Well, she put in at least twice the amount of coffee grounds. It was a percolator style coffee maker. And she put in at least twice the amount of grounds that it needed. She damn near emptied 5 pounds of coffee into it. One of those 5-pound cans.
That's ridiculous.
And the next morning, people just come in and plugged in the coffee maker and went and waited for it to do its thing. Hey, Mass Creations, good morning. And we ended up drinking the coffee, but we ended up cutting it. We just boiled up some water and pour a half a cup of the coffee and then a half a cup of straight water into it. So she ended up with a letter of reprimand over that. They didn't even go with letter of counseling, which was, you got in the Air Force, you got verbal counseling, letter of counseling, then letter of reprimand. Then above that is a letter of admonishment. Then after a letter of admonishment, then it's straight to courts martial. And she ended up with a letter of reprimand for that because, failure to follow direct orders as given by her supervisor. So, but when you're making the coffee for the entire squadron, Josh, you don't make it to the strongest person's the strongest person or the weakest person's taste. You make it to the average person's taste. And she's still gotten, she deserved every bit of the trouble she got into. And then make it worse, she was assigned that job of making the coffee for like 6 weeks. Didn't matter what time she got off work, she had to prep the coffee pot for the next day every day for 6 weeks. And she was not happy about that either. Because that's a lot of water to be carrying back and forth.
Yeah.
To fill up the coffee urn. Because you couldn't take the urn to the faucet. You had to fill up a water jug and put it in the urn. But those are my 2 favorite coffee stories.
Oh my God.
Youngins getting in trouble for doing stupid. It's that one with LSD is the one that still gets me, though.
I think the closest thing I've done to that was when my ex got really crazy toward the end there. I would I had Tylenol PMs, but then when I realized what it was, I wasn't taking them because they weren't for headaches. So I would grind them up and put them in his tea, and then he'd go out and fall asleep wherever he went. He's like, yay, he's out of the house and sleeping elsewhere. I won't have to see him till tomorrow. Yay. But whatever. It took a long time to kick in, but once it did, it was pretty hard. Hi, princess. Where's your skirt? Well, I am asking you one. Oh my God. No.
Go put pants on, girl.
Oh my God. Why are you encouraging her rebellion? Stop. Mr. Shroom said don't put pants on, but you gotta listen to me and go put your skirt back on.
Okay, go put your skirt on, kid.
She just said, leave me alone to die. She's watched Lilo and Stitch way too many times.
Now, Josh, my own bit of revenge that I did to a guy one time is I put crushed red peppers into the coffee grounds. So, but that was, he's one of these guys that this is my pot of coffee. Okay, fine.
Oh no.
That's your pot? Yeah, crush red peppers. And let him this is my pot of coffee, no one else can touch it. Well, that's fine. Here you go, dude. You want to be a dickwad about it? Here. Let me help you out some. I happen to have some crushed red pepper flakes with me, so I added them to his coffee grounds. Didn't break my heart any. All right. Tom Homan.
Oh, here we go.
He's going to be our next. Wait a second. Before I get into Tom Homan, I got to go switch out syringes.
Okay.
Yay. This is my last. I'm putting in my last syringe. I got a real early start on them today. This makes me happy. Yep. Well, since the wife didn't want breakfast, I went ahead back and grabbed my shower and started I mean, I got started before she even left. I already had the needles in me and on my first syringe before she even left today. Which usually I don't get a start on it until after she's gone. All right. So Tom Homan, we all know, and personally, I love this man because he's coming in and with the
What'd he do?
with the elephant, with the not a bull in a china shop, but an elephant in a china shop attitude. He doesn't care who he makes mad or what he does. Now, this is from 2019. Just as a reminder of what he was like in 2019 under the first Trump administration.
Question, and I want to make one quick statement. I find it very offensive that anybody would compare any federal employee, frankly, to someone who the Gestapo or running Nazi concentration camps. That is very offensive. I have 15 seconds and I yield to you.
Thank you for saying that. I wish somebody in Democratic leadership would say that out loud. Look, you want to know why there's 50,000 people in detention? You want to know why we have 1 million illegal entries in the United States? You want to know why we have these issues? Because you have failed to secure the border. You have failed to work with this president to close the 3 loopholes we've asked for 2 years to close. So if you want to know why this issue exists, you need to look in the mirror. You have failed American people for not securing the border and closing loopholes.
Mr. Homan,
Look,
please respect the chair and the authority of the chair. The time of the gentleman has expired.
I've asked you politely to let me go beyond my time, and you let other people go beyond their time, but not to Tom Homan. He don't get me go beyond his time.
Mr. Homan, we have approved an agreement between the Republicans and the Democrats with the ranking member. We increased the time of one witness, one member of Congress who was interrupted by a protest. That is done with the approval of the ranking member. Please respect the chair's authority.
I respect the chair's authority, but the chair,
Mr. Homan,
you work for me. I'm a taxpayer.
The chair's stupid. I'm sorry.
I'm a taxpayer. You work for me.
Yeah.
the witness will suspend.
That is the way he treated Jayapal. And you know, she absolutely hated that. But that is one of 3 of my favorite ones of his previous actions. Here is my next one.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Earlier, my colleague from Maryland, Mr. Raskin, asked the panel how many people here believe that child separation is an effective policy in deterrence. And no one on the panel raised their hand. I just wanted to note that for the record, Mr. Chair. I wanted to ask a question from Professor Mukherjee. Is the United States violating or violated human rights agreements set by the United Nations in a family separation policy?
Yes. International law is clear that family unity should be prioritized.
So we, as members of the United Nations, signed on into an international human rights agreement saying very clearly that family separation is a violation of international human rights, and then we pursued a policy that violates human rights. You know, Mr. Chair, I was looking, how did we get to this point? How did we get to this point where we take children out of mothers' and fathers' arms?
You mean something we do every day of the year, multiple times, probably multiple times an hour every day of the year, but okay.
And, you know, it dated back, family separation in the way that we have seen it, where we take children away from their parents without due process, began last year under Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen, but I had to dig further. our staff dug further, but where did this start?
Did you dig further or did your staff dig further there,
Right?
AOC? You didn't dig nothing. And to this day, I don't think you know how to dig up information. That you rely on
Unless
your
her
staff.
info's behind a bottle of cognac, I don't think she's digging anything.
Exactly.
That sounds like work.
Or it's written on the bathroom stall.
Oh.
Yes, I went there. I've got no respect for this woman.
Nobody does, so you're in good company.
Start within the administration. She implemented it. And we found a memo. Dates back to April 23rd of 2018, where there was an official recommendation to, quote, pursue prosecution of all amenable adults who cross our border, quote, illegally, even though this applied to legal asylum seekers in practice, including those presenting with a family unit between ports of entry in coordination with DOJ. Here is the memo that I would like to submit to the congressional record.
What is the date on that?
It is the memorandum for the secretary from Homeland Security.
Date.
April 23rd, 2018, subject increasing prosecutions of immigration violations.
Without objection.
And so I looked at this memo and it seems like this is the source of it. And it seems as though, Mr. Homan, that you are the author. It says here from yourself, Kevin Michalinen, and Francis Cisna. Is this correct? Did you sign the memo?
I'd have to see what you.
Give it
I'd be happy to provide it. And we'll provide it over, but I would like to note that here it says the official recommendation. There were 3 different options presented. The third included the option for family separation. This initiative would pursue prosecution of all amenable adults, including those presenting with a family unit.
Yeah. Why should
Mr.
just
Homan,
because you
your
got
name is
kids
on
with
this.
you
Is this
allow
correct?
you to commit crimes?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy?
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on family, for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommend a zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Ah!
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Homan, with
family.
all due respect,
Absolutely.
legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're in the
Yeah,
country
they
illegally, it's
came
violation
over
of 8 United
illegally.
States Code
Yeah, that's it. When you enter,
1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of
No.
entry, do it the legal way.
That's right. File
The
that
Attorney
paperwork,
General of
girl.
the United States has made that clear.
Okay. Mr. Chair, the memo is submitted to the record for review. Inspector General
Oh my
Yeah,
God. He's so
he
stupid.
did-
It's painful.
he just spanked the living daylights out of her.
Yep.
But she's not the only one that he spanked in
It wasn't
2019.
the first time someone got on her about this. You think she'd learn it the first time and shut up, but no. She's going to keep going. If she keeps saying it, eventually someone will believe her. No. God, I've never been around someone so stupid. It's more painful for me than them. I'm not a long time. It's painful for me to watch this shit. I'm sorry. I can't.
I don't understand how she keeps getting reelected. I don't understand it. But I guess once again, if a barmaid,
A dumb barmaid,
a dumb barmaid, whose only qualification was to pour beers and put them on the tape and deliver drinks that other people mix to the table, was her only qualifications to make it into Congress, then anybody can make it into Congress.
Doesn't she have any family to tell? Just stop. You sound stupid. You're embarrassing your family. Stop.
No.
Oh my God.
Remember, her aunt lives down in Puerto Rico.
Mm-mm.
Remember about the roof for her aunt?
That aunt needs to get the chancla out. I'm not even kidding.
But here's the last of the three of my favorite times that Tom was before Congress, before the House. I'm playing these for a reason, guys and gals, so that we get a reminder of what he was like the first time he was there. The first time that he worked with Trump.
This isn't really even a child separation policy. It's an arrest policy. What the? I can't.
Well, the children are separated from the adults who are arrested.
But that wasn't
because you can't send children to jail. Just as an aside here, if you are so concerned about parents being separated from their children because the parents are caught illegally entering the country, the surest and safest way to prevent that from happening is to not let them enter the country illegally to start with. They get caught, they get turned around at the freaking border. We have the Border Patrol actually out there patrolling the borders rather than that 100-mile nonsense where they arrest American citizens for not declaring their citizenship, for not wanting to show their papers. Put those border patrolmen to work on the freaking border. But that's my own personal rant on that issue. But let's listen to this dummy. And he's almost a big dummy. He's not quite, he's almost a big dummy.
And policies are not accidental. Mr. Homan, during your time as acting ICE director, deterrence was the order of the day for you. The memo bears that out, exactly what you planned for. The Trump administration claimed they had no choice but to rip children from their parents because they were criminally prosecuting the parents pursuant to zero tolerance policy. Again, and policies that the administration created and that you, Mr. Homan, accepted, enforced, and championed, as we've seen. Let me remind everyone that the Trump administration tried to ban asylum seeking and started the process of metering.
You don't seek asylum inside of the country by entering a country illegally. You go to the legal ports of entry and apply for asylum. You go to you leave the country that you're so afraid of being in, and you go to the nearest embassy of the country that you want to enter and request asylum at that embassy. You don't break. I mean, if somebody wants to stay at my home for some reason, they don't break into my home and say, oh, well, yeah, I broke in your home looking, for a safe place to rest. No, you come to my door, you knock on it.
Right?
I open the door and I either invite you in or I tell you to go away. Or you pick up a telephone and you call me, or you call my wife and you ask for permission. And we tell you yes or no. My nephew, who has issues, called me one night about 3:30 in the morning and told me he was on his way down and he was going to be staying with us for a couple of weeks. And I asked him where he was planning on staying because, as I said, my nephew's got issues. He goes, well, I plan on staying with you. I said, oh, no, you're not. And at this time, my son was still young and living with us. I said, you're not staying at my house. I don't want you to bring you and your issues to my home. Inside my home. If you want to come down and you have someplace to stay, or you want me to help you find someplace to stay, that's one thing. But you show up at my front door, I'm going to shut it in your face. You show up at my front door with luggage in hand. You know? Oh, yeah. That wind is getting to be something else out there today.
Yeah, I like the wind though.
I just opened the door to let Spanky outside and it got a shot full of wind in my face. It's like, oh, no. So, I mean, we want somebody, somebody don't break into your home and then you let them stay. They have to ask permission first. They have to do it the right way.
Which then prevents people from coming through legal ports of entry. That exacerbated the crisis. People are desperately waiting months just to get in line and be granted the inalienable rights to do.
They don't have an inalienable right to enter our country. Nobody has the inalienable right. And see, this is the way the Democrats still think. This is from 2019, but here we are, 2025, and they still think this way. That everybody in the world's got the inalienable right to come to our country and live here, regardless of who they are or what they've done in their past.
Process. Mr. Homan, you have said that most immigrants are, quote, not criminals other than the criminal act that they do when they enter the country illegally.
That's right. And at that point, they are now a criminal because they chose to enter the country illegally.
That is why I think we ought to revisit decriminalizing desperation, striking sections 1325 and 1326 of Title 8 of the U.S. Code, the statutes that the administration has leveraged to separate thousands of children from their families. Mr. Holmes.
See, this man is actually saying that he wants to make it legal for people to enter the country any place they want to, not just at our ports, port of entries, but any place.
Homan, do you understand that the consequences of separation of many children will be lifelong trauma and carried across generations? Have we not learned from the internment of Japanese Americans? Mr. Homan, I'm a father. Do you have children? How can you possibly allow this to happen under your watch? Do you not care? Is it because these children don't look like children that are around you? I don't get it.
Just called him a racist. He just called Homan a racist.
Mm-hmm.
And what does the fact whether or not Homan has any children have to do with the fact that...
Oh, they're just throwing spaghetti at the fridge to see what sticks. Yeah, we all know it has nothing to do with anything. I mean, I'm not a helicopter pilot, but if I see a helicopter in a fucking tree, I know something really went wrong. Okay?
Yes.
Nah, you know.
100%.
Have you ever held a deceased child in your arms?
Have
First of all,
you?
your comments are disgusting. I've served my
I find your
country. I've served my
comments
country. I've
disgusting
served
as
my
well,
country
sir.
for 34 years.
I find your
This
comments
is out of
disgusting
control.
as well.
I've served my country for 34 years, and yes, I held a 5-year-old boy in my arms. That in back that tractor trailer, I knelt down beside him and said a prayer for him because I knew what his last 30 minutes of his life were like, and I had a 5-year-old son at the time. What I've been trying to do my 34 years serving my nation is to save lives. So for you to sit there and insult my integrity and my love for my country and for children, that's why this whole thing needs to be fixed. And you're the member
We
of Congress.
agree on that.
Fix it.
We agree on that, but I disagree. But I also disagree with your characterization of immigrants as prone to criminality.
People for 3 decades on this.
Gentlemen's time has expired. It's my time now.
Mr. Chairman,
It's my time.
but the gentleman ripped off about 7 different questions designed to go at the character of Mr. Homan, and Mr. Homan should be given a chance to respond. It was ridiculous the way he just rattled them all off and wouldn't let him respond to them.
Let me say this. I understand that, but first of all, I'm gonna have civility in my hearings. All right? No,
I
I've
agree.
got no.
Agree.
I have the floor.
I understand, and I agree with you.
I'm gonna have civility. That's why I was banging, so that we could hear each person speak. I have been very courteous and very kind. Now, Mr. Homan, do you have something to say?
No one in this room has seen what I've seen in my 34-year career.
Very well.
No one has experienced what I've experienced. I've saw many dead bodies coming across this border. And you want to talk about the memo? This memo is one option to stop death. Not just about enforcing the law, stop death. If you want to legalize illegal immigration, good luck with that, because it's going to get a hell of a lot worse on that border. If you say, well, okay, from now on, there'll be no consequence, no deterrence. It's not illegal to come to this country illegally. More families would come. 31% women would be raped. More children would die. We're a nation of laws. If you don't like it, sir, change it. You're the legislator. I'm the executive branch, and I've served my country honorably for 34 years. And I will not sit here and have anybody say that I don't care about children because you're not the same color as my children.
Thank you very much. It is my time.
And the sad thing about it is this is the way Democrats still go. Oh, Josh, yeah, you're right. Their brain. Many Democrats still believe that anybody and anybody, but that has changed. That has changed somewhat in New York, Chicago, Detroit. But that only changed because Abbott, mostly Abbott of Texas, DeSantis to some degree also. I think DeSantis started it, but Abbott stepped it up and took it to new heights. Started sending illegals to these blue cities that were all about, these blue sanctuary cities that were all about, having illegals coming to the country. But that, they were coming to the country, but they were staying in Texas. New York wasn't having to deal with the problem. Chicago wasn't having to deal with the problem of the illegals. Detroit wasn't having to deal with the problems. And then DeSantis, and like I said, Abbott started sending the illegals to them. Oh my God. Especially Mayor Adams. They've woken up to the problem of illegals. Now they're still, don't get me wrong, they haven't changed their minds. 100%. They're not on the we've got to stop all illegal immigration side yet because they're still Democrats. But when their cities are spending $1 billion, yes, $1 billion a year handling illegals, now they've come to the point where they realize they have got some issues. Now, that was Homan in the past. Then we had 4 years of Biden.
Ugh.
And Kamala, opening the gates. And approximately, I believe the count's going to be northwards of 10 million illegals will have entered the country over the past 4 years. And think about 10 million illegals northwards of. And there's that huge ass train trying to make their trek up here now that Mexico, the president of Mexico, she promised not to allow it, but she's allowing it anyway. She's broken her promise to the United States. Allowing a huge ass train of illegals crossing Mexico under armed escort by the Mexican military and police forces. They're just ensuring that none of them stray off into Mexican territory. Hey, Digi, morning. Oh, yeah, Josh, I'm glad you like South Park. I've only found a couple of episodes of that show that I could handle. Oh, yeah, that's definitely what you got to do, Josh. Get the conversion software and convert them. That's it. I'm doing with my complete.
Oh, no. Sorry.
What's the matter, Raman? That's what I'm doing with. I got the complete Wild West. I'm doing that to that, and some other stuff, other DVDs that I've got. But convert them to digital. That way you can watch them on the go. Put them on your thumb drive and watch them later on your phone or whatever. Okay, I don't need that one. Which one is this? What? Oh, wait a second here. Because I just saw something. I just got a news flash. Electoral College has confirmed Trump is president, but I'm trying to find out where they're getting this from. Okay, it took me to the National Archives. and nothing has changed at the National Archives. So what the hell? Okay. Oh, God, I hate it when YouTube puts these little things down at the bottom of a well, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because when I first pulled this up, that wasn't there. Down here at the bottom, it said, 2024 United States elections, Electoral College has confirmed Donald Trump as president-elect. That wasn't there an hour and a half ago when I pulled this up. Son of a gun. And C-SPAN is not showing. Like I said, there's they're still showing 1 o'clock for. All right. Anyway, so Tom Homan's been making the rounds of the news here lately, and here he is. This is what is going on now, and Tom Homan is one of these guys that I really appreciate. One of the few people working in the government that pulls no punches. He doesn't sit there and try to he's not a Mayorkas.
That man has seen some shit.
This guy pulls.
Looking at him.
Yeah, he pulls no punches. He's a straight shooter. He's not trying to be politically correct or woke in what he's saying. He's bringing facts, and the truth is he knows it, and that's the end of it. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care whether or not he hurts your feelings. In fact, he hopes he does. He hope he does. I honestly believe he hopes that he does hurt your feelings, because that means he's educating you. He's shaking you out of whatever dreamland you were living in. Whatever, he take that rock that you were living underneath off of your head.
On how to improve our national security, there's so much. Incoming czar, border czar, czar in general. Tom, I'll make you the czar of everything. Tom Homan is with us.
He doesn't even smile with that.
You've got a lot on your plate. Everyone we know is praying for New Orleans. They're praying for you, President Trump, everyone coming in, Marco Rubio. It's a whole team of people who now are going to have this country's back, thank God. But when you see this, and Biden's statement, 3 minutes long, not really encouraging, very strange kind of statements about, who he was and that he was an American like that. It's very strange because now we have millions of people, we don't know who they are, hundreds of people regarding the terrorist watch list, people who are dangerous, who are roaming about. What do you think this says? Is this going to be a normal occurrence, or is this just the burst of a couple of rogue terrorists or coincidences? What's your take so far today?
No, more is coming. I think both these incidents, Las Vegas and New Orleans, they're both going to be U.S. citizens. They're both going to have recent foreign travel. They're both on a suicide mission. Neither one thought they're going to go home. And I think you're going to see ISIS affiliation on both of them. But, the president bragged today, this is U.S. citizen American. He shouldn't hang his hat on that, because let's remember, just a couple of months ago, we arrested 8 people from Tajikistan, in New York City, Philadelphia, and LA that were planning a terrorist type event, a Russian type terrorist event here in the United States. Luckily, the intel community called them before they did it. And let's remember, we got over 2 million gotaways, known gotaways on our southern border. Border Patrol's arrested people from 180 countries. Many of these countries sponsor terror. They've arrested over 300 people on the terrorist watch list. Under Trump, we had 14. So I wouldn't hang his hat on these attacks being done by U.S. citizens. It's coming. Even Christopher Wray, who I have very little respect in, it says the southern border is the biggest national security vulnerability he's ever seen.
Also just the fact, the inspiration of it, right? I think that was the Al Qaeda magazine name, right? Is that it's an inspiration for people. And when, just the fact that there seems to be no one at home, no matter who you are.
All right, I've got to interrupt here for a second. There was a jackass commentator, I believe it was MSNBC.
Okay.
All right. I want to say it was the douchebag Lawrence O'Donnell, whatever the hell his name is, who sat there behind his little desk saying that the U.S. military is the biggest source of terrorism in the United States. Because of both of these guys having military backgrounds, and that idiot, the Fort Hood shooter, of course, he was active duty military, that major. Yeah, I know. Oh, hey, Retro. I'm sorry I didn't see you pop in there. Trudeau has officially resigned already? Okay, I thought that was going to happen this afternoon. Well, that's good news for Canada. That Castro's son is stepping down from office. Castro's love child.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so he's sitting there saying how the U.S. military needs to be more closely looked at, especially the white people in the U.S. military and the Trump supporters need to be more closely looked at and evaluated and discharged, because they are more likely to be homegrown terrorists. I'm just sitting there going, "Oh my God, you did this jerk ass did not go there." Oh, I've been one of the first ones to say, I've known a lot of dirtbags in the military. Just because you served in the military does not mean you're a good person. It's gotten worse under Biden. It got worse under Obama. It got worse under Bill Clinton. You want to look at where the problems in the U.S. military started. I would start looking with the changes, the social changes made to the U.S. military started under Democratic presidents, starting with Bill Clinton. Yes, I will be one of those that will stand there and say that gays have no right to serve in the military. Nobody has a right to serve in the U.S. military. Right. It is not a right to be in the military. There are other ways to serve the country than being in the military. A fat person doesn't have a right to serve in the military. A person in a wheelchair doesn't have the right to serve in the military. If you cannot physically do your job, do the job, you don't have a right to be in the military. If you cannot fit into unit cohesiveness, you do not have the right to serve in the military. Just because and you can tell by the the looks of the military today. Now, again, I'm going back in the day, going back to 1998 when I first started, or 1996 when I first started actively. Or no, it was actually before 96. It's probably 95 when I went to the legal office. But before I started getting real active on the internet, I was still active duty. I went to the legal office and I asked what restrictions there were to keep me out of trouble. And the internet was a whole new thing to the military at that time. And they would and they said, okay, first of all, don't tell anybody you're active duty. Don't tell them what branch of the service you're in. Don't talk about your job. Don't do anything in uniform. Don't have any your uniforms hanging up in the background. So that's when I created Original Shroom. Or at that time, it's just Shroom. And then by the time I got over to YouTube and such, other people had already picked up Shroom, so I had to go to Original Shroom. But back on the days of Time Online, and that's really going back. Anybody old enough to remember Time Online? I was very active on Time Online, discussing politics. But nobody knew I was active duty. Nobody knew I was in the military. Nobody knew I was in the Air Force or where I was stationed. Because that's what legal office said I had to do. Now these people are out there in uniform. They take off their Unit M patches, whoopee, or they don't have their blouse on at all. They're just sitting there in t-shirt or they're there in their blues or greens or whatever dress uniform they're in. And and they're openly talking about the things going on in the military and what they do and such. And all that was verboten. That was no. The legal office said, no, never do that. But all that changed, starting with Bill Clinton. And got wider and wider and wider, more and more latitude. When I did retire in 98, my retirement certificate is signed by Bill Clinton. It's sitting in a filing cabinet drawer. I don't have it. I didn't even frame it. I wasn't aware until about a year or so ago that I could request a new one signed by any former president that I wanted to have it signed by. And I thought hard a couple of times about having one signed by GW. Not, like I said, not that I had no problems with GW, but he's the closest president that I do like to my retirement. He was the president following Bill. Yes, Spanky, I'm letting you in. Oh, Lord. That air is starting to get chilly, isn't it, buddy?
Spanky's a good boy. Don't you say anything.
Yes. Oh, yeah. His hips are hurting him, though. So let's go back to these people here. I know I got a little off tangent there, but damn it. Listening to people saying that they got rights to do stuff. No, there are certain things you don't have a right to do. Even if you are an American citizen, there are some things you don't have a right to do.
Or where you're coming in from, it inspires the bad actors. It's like, if you want to get something done now, this is the time to do it, because no one's at home, and Trump is coming in 19 days. And that seems to be something that people, the bad guys, are concerned about, as they should be.
Well, look, they've been emboldened. Look what this administration done. First of all, they relaxed the sanctions against Iran, gave them billions of more dollars. They can fund terrorism, right? You see marches down New York City, the streets of New York City, on the college campuses of people carrying ISIS flags and asking for the death of America. And we allow this stuff to happen. This administration took a weak stance on this stuff. And the southern border, I'll mention again, where tomorrow, I guarantee you, this week they're going to continue to release thousands of people from the southern border, either through the CBP One app, or they're going to fly them in from Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Haiti to the CHMV program to our airports. Then Border Patrol is going to release thousands of more. Nothing's going to change tomorrow. This administration is not taking action against the criminal cartels, the terrorist organizations, or trying to secure our southern border. You can't have national security if you don't have border security. I don't know. I don't understand why they don't get that. I mean, it's common sense.
And this is, people are thinking about, the nature of who comes across the borders. You've mentioned, there's dozens of other countries other than Mexicans, the OTMs as they call them, from China, from Tajikistan, right? Cuba, and we're flying them in. It's a remarkable statement without any vetting at this point. It's almost like a deliberate, unforced error. Like you want this dynamic in here, and it's frightening. What will be some of the first day? Yeah, we always wonder what the President Trump will do on his first day. For you,
of course, this administration, Biden, Kamala, want them in here. Remember, they start selling off pieces of the wall for pennies on the dollar until the Texas government started buying it. Mm-hmm. They've taken troops away from the southern border. They've taken National Guardsmen and such who've been sent to assist the Border Patrol, and they've got them out there cooking lunches for the illegals. They've taken people that were out doing drug interdiction and got them on this in the camps there, in the holding areas, babysitting them. Why aren't they just being flat right deported? You were caught coming across the border illegally, get back your asses across the border. There is no reason for us to be having this border issue. And it's not going, God, I wish I could say that, January 20th, Trump comes in, January 21st, Homan starts working, and by January 31st, first, the problems are going to be solved at the southern border. No. We are still going to be, this is a multi-year issue to get fixed. And if we elect another Democrat after Trump, then everything that Trump will do will be for naught. Because he'll just turn around and do like Biden did and reverse everything that Trump had in place to fix the problems. This has got to be refixed in such a way that the future presidents can't undo it with, a stroke of the pen by executive order. But then we've always got the same problem with the Department of Justice, what they call it, prosecutorial discretion. Well, we're just not going to prosecute these people because it's not worth our time. No, so we're not going to enforce these laws because it's not worth our time. That's what a lot of these people do. All right, I'll check it out, Retro. Let's see what we got here. Where's my X? Come on. Oh, you're right. That did make me laugh.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, there are plenty of issues out there. I mean, the problem, there. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but there's a saying out there that a country is more than a land. It's a culture, it's a language, and it's their borders. If you don't have a common language, if you don't have a common culture, if you don't have borders, then you don't have a country.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now, I mean, I actually had to buy my wife a set of translating earbuds.
Oh, no.
Because she works for one of these places that's quasi-governmental. And about half of their employees don't speak English.
Oh.
Or claim they don't speak English. So for her to understand what they're saying, and she's not allowed to have her cell phone out, which means she can't be running the translator program on her cell phone and reading it off their phone. So they make these earbuds now that your phone picks up what they're saying and translates it from Spanish or German or whatever to English. And I bought them for her, and I told her to wear them, but not to let anybody know she was wearing them or what they did. Let them think they were just normal Bluetooth earbuds. And she found out that most of these women that claim not to speak English do.
Uh-huh.
They just won't do it at work. And that most of them, there's a couple of these women that admit that they're in the country illegally. But somehow or another, they've forged paperwork or gotten paperwork that allows them to work in this quasi-governmental company. They get governmental funds for taking care of immigrants' children, as well as people who live in Section 8 housing. Head Start, early Head Start type stuff. But because of that, their last Christmas party, they didn't have a Christmas party this year. And I know why they didn't have a Christmas party this year. Because they got so many complaints that everything they said had to be translated into Spanish. So every speech, every prayer, everything said to the group had to be said twice, once in English and once in Spanish. And their music selection had to appease the Spanish, mostly Mexican people. Had to be culturally appropriate for them. They got a lot of complaints about that last year. Because even the black people didn't like the fact that over half the music was Spanish in nature, Mexican. So this year they decided rather than put up with all that crap again and the blowback, that they wouldn't have a Christmas party. Because they can't have a Christmas party and do it all in English. Because then the Mexicans would all be pissed off about that, not that, they felt excluded because they don't speak English. But all the English speaking people were upset because everything took twice as long because it had to be translated into Spanish. Had to have another person come up and translate everything at the microphone. And just like they just somehow discovered that okay, I did not mean for that to bounce on my toe again. That's twice today I've had my infusion pump fall on my foot. That hurt enough that I lost my train of thought for a second here. They just discovered somehow, and I could have swore, maybe it's the Mandela effect, that the American bald eagle had been voted upon as a national bird back when Ben Franklin was still around, because he wanted the turkey. And somehow or another, they just discovered that American eagle. Well, at the same time, I could have swore I was taught in school that there was a similar vote for language and it was basically a toss-up between English, Dutch, and German. And English won as our national language. But evidently, we don't have a quote-unquote official national language in our country. Why not? France has got their official language. Canada's got two. Look at that. Look at the nonsense Canada has to go through. You effectively can't be a prime minister of Canada unless you can speak French because of Quebec and that province. What is that, Ontario? Raman, am I right or wrong about
I
that?
don't know. I don't even know, man.
Okay.
I follow Canada Land, so
French
I just know Trudeau's a weirdo. I don't follow it though.
speaking provinces in Canada. There we go. Quebec. Yeah, Quebec is the French majority province. And then let's see, what is it here? New Brunswick is bilingual. Yukon is French minority. Ontario's French minority. Prince Edward Island, French minority. And Nova Scotia is French minority. Well, the way we're going here in this country, half the people I check in at the hotel anymore, I've got to run a translator program because they don't speak English. No, I'm not, y'all know I'm not a racist.
Right.
I accept people for what they are, but I'm also a very proud American citizen. And I do have standards for our country. And I don't think that we should change our country, our tradition, our history to satisfy people who are coming to our country, a hell of a lot of them illegally. Like California schools, it's actually illegal in California schools to wear a T-shirt or anything with an American flag on it on May 5th.
Oh my God.
It's actually illegal. You can go. The kids can be expelled from school if they wear anything with an American flag on the 5th of May, because it offends the Mexican students who are celebrating Cinco de Mayo. That's a Mexican holiday. It's not an American holiday. We've got to get our borders back under control. We've got to get our languages back under control. And I would even take it so far, and I know this would upset a lot of people. I can't think of a single Democrat that'd probably agree with me. That everything official, government official, be done in English and English only. You have to be an American citizen to vote. So why are we supplying ballots
in Spanish
and in different languages?
Creole and yeah.
You have to be able to read English, write English, speak English to become an American citizen. As part of the naturalization process. So why should official government documents be done in any language other than English? Doesn't make good sense to me. I can understand why if somebody's arrested and they have to go to court, and if their grasp of English isn't strong enough, that they should have a translator there. I can understand that. But if you're going in to vote, that ballot should be in English only. Now, if you want to go to your time and effort to bring in to download a translated version of it, of the ballot, so you know how to vote, that's fine. Please do that. Educate yourself as to what's going to be on the ballot. I do. I spend days, weeks learning what's on the ballot and doing research. But honestly, I think I'm a minority when it comes to actually reading ballots in advance and doing research on, especially on constitutional amendments or bills that or proposed laws that I don't understand. I went to a Mexican restaurant, a new one that opened up. Wife wanted to go try out. Wife, my son, and daughter-in-law wanted to go try, so we all went out to a Mexican restaurant. Now, a single person is, from the host to the person that seated us to the person that came and took our order, none of them spoke English. We had to break out our cell phones to translate everything. The menus were in Spanish. I wanted to leave as soon as they handed me the menu, and I couldn't read the menu. Banks don't cash checks written in Spanish. I did not know that. I did not know that. Hey, 6 Minutes, how you doing today? Retro, and that attitude is a lot. There's a lot of people on both sides of the aisle that think that way, that there are betters, that they know better than what we do. I had a lot of hopes there for Dan Crenshaw, but I think he's turned into one of those. I had a lot of hopes for quite a few people, I think, but unfortunately, I think they turned into they got bit by that Washington, D.C. bug. I think that's one of the reasons why I like Homan so much, is he spent so much time in the trenches. His skin is DC bite proof. He can't get bit by that bug. No, right. Retro, I had to get close to my computer screen to read what you wrote there. At first it said, we're just unwashed porn peasants.
Whoa. Not me, I'm a good girl, damn it.
Where did that come from? Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't write any checks for anybody. Oh boy, speaking of, finishing up this show here on that subject, boy, are some Floridians are mad that they can't get to their favorite adult websites anymore.
What sites? I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, the adult educational sites. They can no longer get to them because Florida's made it that they've got to prove that you're an adult. The sites have to have age verification. So a lot of sites just said, fine, we won't allow anybody from Florida to be on to come to our site. I think Texas is another one, but I just, that went into effect January 1st. And I've got a few acquaintances complaining that they can no longer get to some of their favorite adult sites, that they've had to go to VPNs and say that they're from Georgia, they're from Atlanta, to get to their favorite adult site. It's like, okay. I agree. You shouldn't there should be a way to keep children off of these adult websites like that.
Some use credit cards as a form of verification,
but some people don't want to they don't want their real names out being, because
you never know.
Their name gets out in public, and next thing somebody that's gone catfishing through the oh look, for 10 years he visited this website twice a week for 10 years. Mr. Congressman, why were you visiting this website?
Because his wife looks like a boggler.
Get this GTA 5, have facial recognition, make sure in there they age to play the game. I just bought my son this the newest Call of Duty game. And I had to do age verification just to buy the game.
Oh my God.
And it's like, I'm 65 years old. Why do I have to do age verification to buy a stupid video game?
Right? I let my boy play GTA 5 when and he was underage. I didn't even care. I'm like, dude, you're just driving around shooting people. Who cares? I mean, it's like real life.
I don't know. Is that what it's like down there in that part of Florida?
No. I'm thinking about
because if
California.
If it is, I'll never. I mean, I haven't been down through. The last time I was it's been 30 some years, because or close to 30 years, when I took my kid to when the wife and I made a trip down to Disney.
No, I live actually in a pretty nice neighborhood, so I'm just saying in general, though, you go to New York, California, you're going to see this stuff, so no big deal if he's playing it in a game. If it's on the news, not like you can hide this stuff. Who the hell is ringing your phone?
My doctor's office.
Oh, you better get that.
Nope, they hung up. It went to voicemail. No. Well, you're getting one hell of a birthday present there, Pryor.
Let me scroll. I don't know.
He turned 65 on January 20th. Well, I tell you what, and I turned 65 last October. I hope I hope that you have gotten all your ducks in a row for Medicare, Medicaid, or whatever your health insurance is going to be like. I hope you, well, I mean, you're already in it whether you like it or not. I hope you had all your ducks in a row. You knew what you're getting into. And guys, I can't say this often enough. All right. I started researching about 4 or 5 months before I turned 65 what my options were going to be and how things were going to go for my health insurance. And I really did wish that I'd started a year earlier. You know, started, a year earlier than, because health insurance when you turn 65 is such a goat rope. I just don't understand exactly. I mean, all the different programs out there and what they offer. It's just confusing as hell.
Oh, God.
So,
thank you.
All right, guys, this is what's going to go on now. All right. It looks like in about an hour, they're going to start the Electoral College. I will vote count. I plan on streaming that. I'll probably be doing that over on Rumble. Okay. Because I'm pretty certain that YouTube will bounce me because I'm planning on streaming live off of C-SPAN. And YouTube is liable to bump me for doing that. So I'm going to do it over on Rumble. All right. I've got to undo my infusion stuff and then that'll be a whole new stream. I want to make me a quick lunch. But I'll be back here in about an hour to do the YouTube like I said, over on Rumble. And if, let's see here. Let me, so you want to find me over there. Let me post a link to my last stream I had. Here we go. Copy that. This, I hope this works. There you go. There is a link to my Rumble account. Oh, you got it already, Neil? Okay, thanks. And we will see you guys in an hour thereabouts over there for the Electoral College count. All right. Y'all have a good day. Any words of wisdom before we end this stream, Ramen?
Yeah,
Ramen.
I got nothing. I
You
can't.
got
I don't know
nothing.
anything about this stuff. Yeah.
All right. Y'all be good. Have fun. Enjoy yourselves. See you in about an hour over there.
Bye bye.
And as
See you
always,
later.
be with the ones you love and love the ones.